Your 20s can either build you or break you. One of the most scariest things about your 20s is how fast they disappear. 1 minute you think you have all the time, and the next minute you're almost 30 wondering where the years went by. June 9th, I turned 30, and for some reason that number feels kind of different. Now, not because I suddenly became wiser overnight, but because it has really forced me to pause and take a look back at the last decade of my life, my 20s. So in this episode, I want to share with you 5 lessons that I've learned, the mistakes that I've made, and what I'll do differently. And also what I hope that you take away from this episode, whether you're 22 or 29 or somewhere in between. Lesson 1. Consistency always beats talent and motivation. One thing I wish I understood earlier is this: consistency always compounds. Not talent, not big ideas, not motivation, consistency. Sometimes we tend to overestimate what we can do in a week, and we massively underestimate what we can do by just showing up consistently for 5 years. Anytime I teach about this concept of consistency, a favorite story always comes to mind, which is the story of the Chinese bamboo tree. You plant the seed, and for 4 years, nothing happens. All you do is just wait. You water it, you tend for it, you fertilize it, and then in year 5, it grows to about 90 feet in just a period of 6 weeks. Now, the question most people always ask is, did it grow in 5 years or did it grow in just 6 weeks? The answer, of course, is both. All the while, the roots were deepening on the ground, and that is what consistency actually looks like in real life. Invisible progress and then sudden results. This reminds me of Goodie Bag, a product that we launched some months ago. Actually, Goodie Bag happens to be a gifting platform that helps its users curate perfect gift items for their loved ones. When we initially started, and that was the peak festive season, I obviously imagined instant results. And then we launched, and the results wasn't really coming as much as expected. And to be honest, I got discouraged, but I kept showing up. And today I can say those little steps of consistency have begun to pay results. And in order for you to be consistent, you have to build systems around you that will help you stay consistent. That's how you achieve your goals, through consistency. It reminds me of a famous quote by James Clear, author of one of the New York Times bestseller, Atomic Habits. And he made a statement that you don't always rise to the level of your goals, you will always fall to the level of your systems. So build systems that will help you stay consistent. Lesson 2. Stop waiting for the perfect time. I spent a lot of time waiting for enough clarity, waiting for enough money, waiting for enough confidence, waiting for the plans to be perfect before I took the first step. And here's what I learned the hard way. Clarity always comes from action. You don't think your life into a new one, you act your way into one. There's a famous statement that says an unexamined life is not worth living. But I'm here to challenge you. If all you do is sit down and just examine your life, then you're not really living. So if you're here, you have an idea that has been there for a while, or maybe God has placed something in your heart and you're waiting for the perfect time to start. Well, newsflash. The best time to start was 5 years ago. The next best time is now. Sorry for the interruption. If you're really enjoying watching this, why not take a moment of time to just like, subscribe, and share with your loved ones? Now, let's dive right back into the video. Lesson 3. Seeking validation will drain you. I spent a lot of energy trying to be understood, trying to be liked, and sometimes even making choices that felt quite impressive from the outside, even when they felt hollow on the inside. Eleanor Roosevelt made a statement, you wouldn't really worry as much as what people think about you if only you realize how seldom they do. People are really busy living their lives, and the audience you're performing for largely does not exist. Now, I could remember when I started my career as a software engineer, earlier on in my career, as a newbie into the industry, into the tech industry, you always want to, walk beyond the norm, sometimes stay late in the office, sometimes take up extra tasks, and sometimes, despite the fact that you're a junior developer, you might want to also take up the role of mentoring other interns. And I found myself saying yes to almost everything. And this was gradually becoming so exhausting. Now, I wasn't exhausted because people expected so much from me. I was exhausted because I expected myself not to disappoint anyone. And the truth is, care about what other people think, and you will always be their prisoner. Lesson 4. Put yourself on your own priority list. I used to think always showing up for others is a virtue. And trust me, it is, until it isn't. Until you realize you've been running empty for so long that you have absolutely nothing to give to anyone. When you're on board a flight, you will always be told, in the case of an emergency, put on your own oxygen mask before attempting to save others. And not because you're selfish, but because you'll be absolutely useless to everyone if you can't breathe. Self-care is not a luxury, it's an infrastructure. Because you can't pour from an empty cup. Lesson 5. Your 20s are a season of investment. One of the lessons that I learned earlier is that your 20s are a season of planting. They are the most powerful seasons to plant your seeds. I'm talking about seeds of crafts, seeds of relationships, and even seeds of money. The life people admire in their 30s are almost quietly built in their 20s. Now, here's the math of starting early. If you invest, say, around $200 a month, starting at age 22, by 65, you will end up with about roughly $1 million at an 8% return. Now, if you wait till you're 32 to start the same habit, same amount, same return, you will end up with only about $440,000. So a 10-year delay will cost you over $500,000. Compound interest doesn't always care about your excuses. Now, this is not just true for money alone. Time with family compounds, friendship compounds, skills compounds. Every conversation with your parents, every hour you spend at the gym, every page of a book that you read, it all adds up in ways that you will not see now until later. So in conclusion, if there is something that I've learned, it is this. You don't have to have it all figured out in your 20s. All you need is curiosity, courage, and enough humility to learn from your mistakes. I'm almost 30 and I don't have it all figured out. But I know life is less about rushing into milestones and more about becoming the kind of person that can handle them when they come. So if you're in your 20s listening to this, stop comparing timelines. Someone else's highlight reel is not your roadmap. Build quietly, save something, take risk, and please be kind to the version of yourself that is still trying to figure things out. That version got you here. Thank you.